I'm joined here now by a good mate of mine, Josh Yak Shooter. How you going, mate?
Good, man. What's going on, Todd?
Not too much, buddy. Just glad to be talking to you.
It's been a long time.
That's right, yeah. I can't wait to see you again. First question, man. What first attracted you to pro wrestling? What got you into it?
The hype around it, as in walking out, the reaction, the big moments when someone would hit a big move and all the photos would flash in the background of when the Rock would hit the rock bottom, and the cool aurora that goes around professional wrestling and the entertainment factor of it. I love all the glitz and glamour and the smoke and mirrors. It's amazing.
and how did you find a place to start training? Like, because I know for me, I wouldn't have had a clue how to find it. So how did
I
you
still
find
don't have a clue. But what happened is I went down to a local milk bar around the corner from mine, and I seen a poster for pro wrestling. And me thinking it was WWE, I went down there a couple hours early with $50 willing to get like one of the nosebleed seats, not realising it was Aussie wrestling. And then as soon as I got there, they were still setting up the ring, so I walked in, I gave them a hand, and then I started training from there on. They asked if I was 16. Of course I wasn't, I was 15 at the time, but I still said yes. They found out later, and then Mike Manson and Mike Burr beat the shit out of me for it.
So who actually did train you? Was it Manson and Burr?
Yeah, Mike Manson and Mike Burr, and I'm now alliance up with Hardway Inc., which has Mike Burr and Jay Andrews, which are two of the top wrestlers in Australia, in my opinion, anyway. So I couldn't have it better at this time.
Yeah. Tell us more about Hardway Inc. Like, how are you actually involved with them? Are you just sort of like a group, or is it a...
It will be a stable, and it will be an Australian-wide thing, as we will be trying to spread our name around. We will be trying to go state to state, trying to prove that we are the standouts on the show and everything else, and we stand for there is only one way, the Hardway Inc.
So it's sort of like a TDMK sort of thing? TMDK, sorry?
Along those lines, something like that, but let's just see how it goes for now.
Yep, beautiful. How did you get the name The Axe?
Well, it was a wardrobe misfunction when I had my first dark match for MCW. Just before I was on my way to Adelaide to wrestle for some really terrible promotion at the time, not RCW, but those that shall not be named. And I had short shorts on, and it was really thin. And then as I was laying there after the match was done, it rode up me and gave me a wedgie, and it looked like I was excited to be there per se. But from there on out, I got the name The Axe, due to Mikey J.
So nothing to do with the way you hit or anything, it's just completely wardrobe related.
It's penis related, but if a fan asks, I tell them it's because I punch people really hard. And 9 times out of 10, I probably do.
One of the things I really do like about you is that you're always looking to like improve your game. Like before guys like Marcus Pitt and Elliot Sexton trained at Booker T, you actually went over there and did it yourself. So can you tell us about that experience?
Honestly, in my opinion, I would have rather go back now when I have the full grasp on things, because when I went to Booker's, I learned a hell of a lot about psychology and everything else, and ring conditioning, and how to walk in the ring, and how to have a presence, how to have my shoulders sitting, how to sell, where to look at the time, where to point my chin, all the little bits and pieces I wouldn't have picked up. But the best training I've ever had so far, and I will account David Storm to it, was in EPW Perth, where I went over there for 5 weeks last year to train for. But Booker T's was worth it. They had a full gym facility. They had personal trainers on hand, which would help you out. All the guys were friendly. Everybody set up the ring. There was no superstars there. And Booker was there 3 nights a week. So you have to have one-on-one time with him, where if you ever had a question, hey, Booker, what do you do in this situation? What do you do if a tag team wants to do this and this? He would be happy to answer them. So he wasn't a dick about it, and he was always willing to help people. That was the main thing.
Yeah, so how long were you in the business before you actually went over there to train?
I've maybe been wrestling for 1.5 years, but a few mates of mine decided, yeah, we're going to go overseas. Who else wants to come? And I decided, you know what, stuff it, I'm going to go as well. I probably should have waited a bit more, to be honest, but I don't regret it, and I learnt a lot.
So did you have like a slight mark-out moment when you first saw Booker, or was it...
I wasn't a heavy fanboy for him, so I didn't really have I didn't really have a mark out moment. But when I went to Japan recently, I got to tag against Sekimoto. And Sekimoto, I like his thick look, and I like his powerhouse style, and the strong style he presents in the ring. And so just tagging against him was just randomly chosen on the day, and that was a really big thing for me, without being one of those Australian guys that pay for a person to come down to wrestle them.
Yeah, well, aside from trying to eat all of the ice cream in Japan, you actually trained at Big Japan Wrestling. Can you tell us how different that was, and how much do you think it has helped your career?
It would rotate between either cleaning the dojo, which would be like cleaning the glass off the apron, washing down all the walls, cleaning all the weights, doing everyone's washing and hanging up on the ropes to dry, or the next day it would be training early in the morning, or we would have a primary school show where we would go to a primary school and we would put on a show, or we would actually do a show. But every night we would either do weights or we would relax and we would chill there. But it was just really humid, it was sticky. Being alone, not be able to speak a full English conversation to people really surprised me for a bit. I didn't realise how bad it was. But everyone was friendly and no one was a dick to me, and I learned just to endure and not to give up yet. And they tried to break and destroy everyone with fitness, but one of the young boys there, we had to shoulder tackle him, and everyone was shoulder tackling him for 5 minutes, and they got stiffer and stiffer, and it was my turn to go up and shoulder tackle him, and I gave him one light, and then he gave me one hard back, and he wouldn't accept it unless it was really stiff, so he wanted to earn everyone's respect by getting beaten up. So it was really cool to have a look at things like that.
Yeah, it's sort of like they're out there to prove themselves. They don't want to take anything sort of for granted.
Exactly, like they are in it and they will do anything to stay in the business. As in, if you put most people in the ring today and you have to beat them up, and if you want to be a wrestler, you need to get beaten up for 20 minutes a day for the next 2 years, most people will leave on the spot.
You showed me a match that you had over there with, I think it was you and Kawakama. I'm really terrible at it. Against Madoka and Ishikawa. How was that, especially with, like you said, the language barrier you had to cross? I mean, it'd be hard enough just with one guy you're facing, let alone having the three to sort of communicate between. How hard was that?
The match was pretty simple, and Ishikawa lived in England for a couple of years wrestling over there as a full-time job, and he spoke pretty good English, so he was my best friend the whole time anyway. Me hanging around him, asking him to translate this, translate that. And he was part of the tag team Heavy Metal, and they showed me some of their tag team matches before, and all their stuff seems pretty simple, as in the same moves every match and the same style of psychology. And it was really good, and I learnt a lot from doing so many tags over there.
So was that primarily what you did? You primarily did tag matches, or was it a nice mix of both?
I primarily did tag matches, which really helped as well because I have an interest in tags, so it really appealed to my interest.
See, that's what you and I have in common. I love tag team matches. Other matches you had in Japan, which ones were your favourites? Obviously, the one you mentioned before, but was there any others that really stood out and you thought, yeah, this is the best of, you know what I mean?
The last match I had was at a open arena theatre where it was on a concrete plate, and then it had a theatre platform where there was about 800 people there, and myself and Kawakami tagged up against the BJW Tag Team Champs, and we had a really good match, and it went over well and everyone loved it, and it was the semi-main of the show, and I couldn't be happier with it. Plus they were nice, and as I was leaving they gave me a birthday present, they all said farewell, everything else, so they're really, really nice people.
That's awesome. Back in Australia, you've just won the UPW Championship. That's a new promotion, no? And can you tell us about it?
All it really is PWAEQ that's reformed with everybody with new attitudes that are seeking to improve. As long as everybody keeps training and everyone's put forward and they take on board any criticism, I can't see why it won't be successful. But first show is always an up and down, and no one knows how it can go from there. So the first show was successful in their eyes, but if the next show draws half the people, it will be going down from there. But if they run with the momentum and decide to do more flyers, more posters and advertising, they might actually get more people there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a compliment for them to relaunch their show and have you as their champion for their first match, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's good. What other promotions have you worked for in Australia, or should I say, what ones haven't you? Because you've pretty much been everywhere, haven't you?
I at least try and do one of each, but I haven't done Tasmania yet, but I'm going to see how their first show goes and consider going over there. I've done an EPW show a while ago when I tagged up with Warship. I'm looking to head over there soon. RCW, where I love the crew over there, especially Matty for letting me stay at his house all the time, and he's a really cool guy, demons and that. Can't say much else. I don't do New Age wrestling in Melbourne anymore. Not due to personal reasons or anything, just that MCW will come first and I'll have to put their preferences there. Yeah, man.
Your favourites are sort of your MC dubs and your RC dubs?
Yeah, they're my two anyway, because it's easier for me in Melbourne to jump between Adelaide and Melbourne anyway.
Yeah. What in your opinion, because you've been around for a little while now, what in your opinion makes a good promotion?
The vibe backstage is an important thing as well. As long as everyone can get along with everyone can have a joke. There's no superstars. If people are getting paid, it's all equal. No one's a superstar and gets paid more than the other person. Everybody puts up the ring at the same time. Unity is key. And Lobo told me that, and RCW apply that, and they've been going strong for a while now.
Awesome. Now, some people might know this, but people have bucket lists of things that they want to do before they die. You have one for guys that you want to work or that you want to wrestle. Can you tell us about that and who's the one dream guy that you want to work?
There is no one dream guy I want to work, but I try and get around and I really want to work with the top guys in Australia. I've wrestled Ryan Rowlands, which was one of the people that got me into wrestling in the first place, and we had a great match. Unfortunately, we were both in mask both times we wrestled, but it still pulled off great, and we had amazing chemistry together when we were in the ring. But there are just the top guys in Australia I want to wrestle before they retire or before they leave or get broken any more than they already are. I'll try and go around and just wrestle them to see how I go and have the best match I can. And I believe as they are the more experienced guys, they can bring me up to their level. And I'm just striving to improve at the end of the day.
Awesome. Now, going from people you want to work to the ones that you have, which ones are your favourites?
I had a match with Mickey Jackson at NAW about 3 years ago. He's on my list of people I want to have another match with. Ryan Rowlands anytime. Grim has just such an presence when he's in the ring, and it's such a brutal, heavy metal, demon-like character. I don't know how to describe him. I want to have another one with him. Mimic is on the list of people I want to wrestle. I wrestled Ryan Eagles once, but that was in a terrible show in front of maybe 40 people at best, where no one really cared about wrestling. So I'd really like to have another match with him in front of people that did care about wrestling.
Yeah. What does the future hold for the Axe? I mean, where do you see yourself going? Do you want to just stay in Australia, or are you looking to go over to Japan again, or are you looking to maybe crack the American market?
I'm hoping to make a living out of professional wrestling one day, but I don't think I'm at that level yet. So I will probably head over to Japan by mid next year at the very latest. Come back and then try and improve my game once again, even if I have to move over to Perth for 3 months and train over there, or Adelaide or Sydney or wherever's needed. Once I improve my game, I'd like to head over to the States 3 or 4 times to try and get that tryout and try and see how we'll go from there. Just like how Sexton went over a couple times and he got the tryout, and he doesn't feel like he's willing to make a professional living over there, and he's going to stick to Australia for now, as far as I know. Yeah. So I'm going to try the same approach.
All right. Have you thought about, like, say, training at Lance Storm's Academy, like a lot of others have tried, like Ryan's tried?
And everything else, but I'd rather stick to America. As I've heard, it's really good on cleaning up your basics and everything else, but I've got no interest in going to Lance's. Okay. No offense to anyone that's been to Lance Storm, as I can see the improvement in Ryan Rollins, Nikita Naridian, Carlo Cannon, and many others. And Mike Peterson, the current MCW champion, headed over there today.
Who do you see as the next Aussie to break that international market? Someone to get like a contract with a Noah or a WWE developmental or something like that really stands out to you that you say he shouldn't be, he should already be over there?
No one really comes to mind when you say that, but I hope the best for Adam Brooks, because he is the most humble guy I know that can joke around with everybody, not have any hate with anybody. And if someone does have hate with Adam Brooks, it's only because they're a dickhead and they don't know any better. Adam Brooks has a character. He has the facial expressions. He has the look to him. His moves are clean and everything else, and I cannot say enough good things about the guy.
Yeah, no, I am a big fan of the way Adam Brooks works. Before we go, do you have any plugs or upcoming shows or anything you want to get over? Like, how can fans get in contact with you, stuff like that?
fans can buy my T-shirts or my promo photos or my wristbands or whatever can support my eating habits, and I have a terrible eating habit.
That you
Not
do.
junk, but I like steak a lot, and so I'm terrible with remembering dates as well. So I've got MCW coming up, and you can search them on Facebook at Melbourne City Wrestling, and their main show coming up is in the Thornbury Theatre, but I'll be at the Hi-Fi Bar on the 20th wrestling at a Lucha show. I'll be at Wrestle Clash. I cannot say what I'll be doing, but I'll be at Wrestle Clash competing there at the German show. I'll be doing UPW in Queensland on the 27th of this month, so if anybody does listen to this in Queensland, no offense, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Please come down to UPW and buy my stuff and support my eating habit.
Also on Facebook, it's just Josh Shooter.
Yeah, just search Josh Shooter.
Josh Shooter, there you go. Thank you so very much for talking to us, mate. I can't wait to see you over here in Adelaide again.
All right, I'll see you around, bro.
Yeah, and I'll definitely hit Josh up to get you some Subway.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Steak and cheese?
Yeah, steak and cheese.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.